Hey guys, it's Kevin again. This can review for Witches of East End, Season 2, Episode 4, The Brothers Grimorie. And this episode was just, oh my god. This episode was just everything I wanted Witches of East End to be since I started watching the show. As you can tell, and as we've gotten, I mean, this was the darkest episode we've gotten of the show. This episode really showed how good the show is when it's extremely dark like this. I mean, this episode had a couple light moments, but other than that, it was very, very dark, and I really liked that about the episode. I thought it was good that it was really dark, actually, because I liked the dark tone of it. I liked the way it was done. I thought that it was really good that it was dark like this. I like that they did it like that, and I really like the way they did that. So I really hope they continue to bring us dark episodes like this, because I really enjoyed this one a lot. I thought this was an absolutely fantastic episode, by far the best episode of this season, and probably the entire series as well. I think this episode was just so well done, especially, I mean, that thing at the end. I expect it to happen, but still, I wasn't sure if they were going to go through with it. Let's just get to it. Basically, we see Wendy and Tommy on a date, that guy, that EMT she's with, and it's not going well for them, because they're having a picnic of beer and junk food, and all of a sudden this rat comes out of nowhere and tries to attack Tommy, and basically, we don't know what's going on there, and she's kind of freaked out about it, and it turns out, basically, that she talks to Joanna about this. Now, Joanna, in the meantime, has no idea that something is wrong with Victor. She has no idea about this. She thinks, because the last she heard from him, he was coming home soon, and she was just happy to hear it, that she, never questioned the part about, not hearing his actual voice in quite some time. Now, here's the thing with this, though. When are characters on the show happy? They're not usually. Most times if a character is happy on this show, shit's gonna go down for them, or something's gonna happen to them, because characters are never happy on this show. I mean, they always have some sort of drama, and the second that she said, we're happy, I'm like, oh shit, something is going to happen to Joanna and Victor tonight. Something's gonna happen to them. Basically, then what we find out is that the people that have Victor looking for the key, basically the person that that tried to attack Tommy, is this girl named, their names, let me get their names correct. Oh my, just ignore the phone, guys. Isis and Ivor. They are twins, and at first they seem like lovers, but basically, they, they are the people that have Victor locked up in a grimy dungeon, and basically they are there because, they have left him there because they are looking for the key. Now, as we know, Ingrid is the key, Ingrid's the key. That's how it's been since episode 9 of Parching Imbued. Now, but they still think that it's inside, that's the thing inside of a womb. And if Ingrid doesn't move out in time and, away from her family, she might very well be the next person that gets tortured right alongside her father. Because, they want to find the key. Basically, they just want this so it can be an escape mission for them to go back to Asgard. That's what they want to do. They just want to go back to Asgard. However, they're very, evil creatures. So once his captors realized Victor wasn't going to talk, his family members became their next objective, because Victor's not going to talk to them. Basically, as I said, they just want to go home, and they're willing to sacrifice anyone to do so. So, basically, what then ended up happening was that we see Frederick and Freya. They are at the bar. Freya's at the bar, and Frederick's there with her. And, they end up, finding Ivor and Isis. They end up, they come up to them, and things changed when Isis and her brother got banished from Asgard, like the fact that Frederick kind of despised them now. And basically what we find out is, that, one of them kidnapped Freya, and, there was a very big, twist here. Frederick and Ivor and Isis used to be really good friends. And of course, Freya doesn't remember because this was another past life. That's why she doesn't remember. So, you know, because she was in another past life, so that's why she doesn't remember. But, you know, that was definitely a very interesting twist. Now, Freya's really not cool with the whole twincest thing, and honestly, that twincest thing, that was really creepy, honestly. That twincest thing was like, okay then. Basically, yeah, so that was definitely very interesting. And I just thought that was a very interesting twist, in my opinion. I really enjoyed that. And basically, they tracked down Freya to her job, and basically, their polite offer about going back home was denied because Frederick really did not want to deal with them right now, plus Freya didn't want to deal with him either. And one of them ends up kidnapping Freya, the other blackmailed Frederick with images of his imprisoned father, and they knew that Frederick might not be all that moved about losing his father. Yet his twin sister, you know, Freya, that's a different story, because she's known him longer. Freya is their best option at getting Frederick to comply. So basically, Frederick was going to deal with the twins by himself. However, Joanna caught him trying to steal her Grimorie, which whenever you want to try to steal a Grimorie, you know, and you're a witch, someone's going to freak out about it, obviously. So he explained himself, but Joanna wanted to remain at home while she dealt with Isis and Ivor. She thought she could handle it, and basically, I'm sure she thought of this because she knows that Isis and Ivor are troublemakers. She knows that they're his friends, and she's thinking, I can probably deal with this because she's probably dealt with it before. That's what, you know, we're left to believe, that she's probably dealt with Isis and Ivor before. This would not be the first time she's dealt with them. She's dealt with them before. And basically, she thought she could handle it. So she went about trying to free her family, like the badass she is. I mean, Joanna's a real badass, really. She is always a badass. And she ends up getting ensnared in the trap Isis set up as a backup. And basically, Isis tied Freya to a living explosion. And we see Victor untied, basically. Now, as for, yeah, so that was definitely very interesting. I thought that was definitely very big and very interesting. Now, Frederick's being very stubborn. He left seconds after Joanna did, and Frederick isn't the good son Joanna, neither wants nor needs him to be. He's not really that good son anymore, and we kind of see that in this episode. There's something up with him. Basically, when he did catch up to Ivor, he didn't want to do this to rescue his family. He just wanted to kill Ivor, knowing full well that would upset his sister. You know, that upset his sister Isis, who most likely had his family under her thumb. Because the thing is, he wanted to do this because, you know, he really wanted to get his revenge. He didn't really care about his family, and it's interesting. I don't really know what Frederick is hiding. All we know is that the three of them used to be friends. They're not really good friends. Freya wanted nothing to do with them in this past life. So obviously there's something going on, and we don't know exactly what it is. So basically, he risked them all without a second thought, which left his mother cleaning up after him. She was forced to break Freya out of the death trap, and basically we get a really sad scene because Victor basically tells her, look, I'm not going to live anyway. I wasn't planning on living. I don't want Freya to die. And he begged Joanna to do it. He wanted to protect his family, and that meant they had to leave while he was strapped to a magical detonator. And so Joanna cast a spell, saved her daughter, but lost Victor. Now, honestly, as I predicted, I thought Victor was going to die. And the reason I thought he was going to die was the simple fact that he really cares about his family. He really cares about wanting to risk his life for his family. So that's why I was pretty much thinking Victor's probably going to die in the next episode. And I was, you know, it was sad that he died, but at the same time, Victor didn't really serve much purpose to the story. He was Joanna's husband, and he made her happy. And that's really what can't happen on this show. No character can be happy on this show because they just can't be. It's just a thing. They can't be happy right now. So unfortunately, Joanna's lost the love of her life. Freya doesn't exactly have a, and Freya in the meantime, calls Killian about it, and basically he doesn't react in any way. He's like, alright, fine. He just, basically he doesn't give her anything besides his pity after he learned about her father. So, yeah, that was definitely not good. And then the very end of the episode, we had a huge reveal. Basically, do you remember that creature that Ingrid went to in the last episode? Yeah, basically, we find out that creature, not the last episode, but the premiere episode. Do you remember that creature at the very end of the episode, Immovable Beast, the one that Ingrid went up to? Two creepy things with that episode, with that creature in this episode. One, Ingrid is, like, having bestiality sex with him. And two, he is the strange paramour that's killing people in her hometown. We find that at the very end of the episode, and honestly, I thought that was a great reveal, because all this time you thought it would be Frederick or whatever, or maybe even Ivis and Ivor, but it had nothing to do with either of them. It was this creature, and I thought that was definitely a very good twist. Now, what I've heard about this creature is that this creature is actually going to be Ingrid's lover, apparently. Like, Ingrid and this creature are going to have a few more hot scenes together, I heard, because they revealed some stuff at Comic-Con this week, so that's definitely going to be interesting. Apparently there's going to be more Freya and Killian scenes as well, I don't know, but speaking of Killian, let's go to Dash and Killian's plot. I love their plot in this episode. I thought Dash and Killian's plot was very strong in my opinion, so let's just get to it. So basically, Ingrid has been beating herself up for not getting in touch with Dash sooner. She feels like if she did, then maybe she wouldn't have killed someone. But while she wants to be a friend to him, he, on the other hand, might not be so receptive to friendship after finally hearing back about his mother's will. Dash still is kind of upset. He's still kind of pissed off. He's still not in the best mood and everything. So, he's still having sort of a hard time. He really is. Now, their mother's will was cryptic to say the least. She left them a treasure hunt using magic. So, this means that if she wanted them to find out about their abilities, even though it was her fault, that they were denied powers to begin with. Now, remember, she hated the Beauchamps so much she stole powers off her own children, back when they were, babies, in order to make herself strong enough to kill Joanna. So, that definitely was very interesting. So their mother left them her grimoire, and seeing as she practiced dark magic, here's hoping her sons don't try out any of her old spells meant for each other. That's including the still very angry Dash. As I said, Dash is still pissed off. He's very angry, and that's because he's absorbed all this power, pretty much. That's why he's so angry. Eventually, though, Ingrid does hear from Dash that a spell had gone wrong for him and Killian, so she goes on her way to help when she was pulled into a trance. As I said, that creature lying in the forest needed her to come and sustain him. Yeah, it was really creepy to watch. She took off her clothes, and she was just standing in, like, a tank top, basically. Yeah, that's basically what she was doing. She was staying like a tank top, about to have sex with the creature. But Ingrid really is needed by the gardeners. They tested out a protection spell on themselves, and it only seems to work for Dash. The spell protects Dash from all physical and emotional help, while it deteriorates his brother at a rampant pace. So by the time Ingrid did show up to assist, Killian was practically at death's door. He was about to die. So she managed to halt the process before he crossed to the other side, and then she had to talk to the brothers through in reversing the spell. Because without fully understanding it, Dash casted a spell that stole his brother's vitality, and it's why he was suddenly in perversions to fire when he wanted to make sure that this protection spell worked. So Ingrid freed from their own mistake, and in return, she then asked Dash to help her with her time lapses, which is a good thing. Definitely, I thought that was a good thing. And, yeah, so she saved Dash, and Dash is saved now. So, yeah, Dash is saved now. Dash is back to normal. He's no longer evil. Whatever Ingrid did, she fixed it or whatever. I don't know what she did, but she made him definitely stronger. She made him more powerful. I have no idea what Ingrid did, but she did something, definitely. The one thing I do want to say, though, is that it seems like Killian doesn't really care so much about Freya anymore. It seems like Dash doesn't care about her either. I did hear that Freya and Killian, we're going to see a flashback to them last week of how Freya and Killian used to be in a past life. It's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens there, and I think that is going to be interesting next week. And then let's go to Wendy. Oh, Wendy. She always has the comedic plot of the episode. Now, she said they were basically, she keeps trying to go on these dates with Tommy, but every time she goes on a date with him, literally every time something's going wrong. There was this one time they were trying to play, there was that picnic incident. Then she tried to play darts with him. A dart ended up in his back. That was hilarious, honestly. I thought that was hilarious. And the last time they met, basically, she said that they were cursed when it came to developing a lasting and strong relationship. And she was right. So many things went wrong for her whenever she tried to meet with Tommy. And now that she's tried to meet with him, unbeknownst to her, Joanna's lost the love of her life. Freya doesn't exactly have a hold on Killian besides his pity after he learned about her father. So things are not going really good for Wendy either. Now, I did hear this one very important thing about Wendy that I really do want to talk about. And that is that, how Wendy said this is her last life? Yeah, at Comic-Con, they kind of reviewed a few spoilers that Wendy could possibly die. Yeah, apparently Wendy's gonna die, possibly. Now, I sort of predicted this last season, because, she said this was her final last life, so I pretty much thought that she was gonna die. Now, apparently someone major is gonna die. It's gonna be one of the witches. They've already confirmed it. And if I could think of anyone, it would probably be Wendy right now. I really think Wendy has the best chance of dying. Everything's going wrong for her. Freya will not die. Freya will not die. She's like the main witch. She's not going to die. Ingrid's obviously not going to die. I keep seeing so much chemistry between Ingrid and Dash. I don't know what it is, but there's something between Ingrid and Dash that I really like. It does look like Dash is going to get a new love interest, though. I did read something about this, which is going to be interesting to find out about what's going on there. Now, as far as Freya goes, I don't know exactly what's going on with Killian, why he's so, pissed off at Freya. Pretty much Freya thinks that, Freya did lie to him in the last episode that her breaking up with Dash had nothing to do with Killian, which is, not the truth. So he's kind of upset about that because he knows that she did really love him, and now he thinks that she doesn't. It's going to be interesting to see what happens there. As far as Joanna goes, Joanna's pretty much going to be a wreck, probably. Now, Frederick. There is definitely something going on with Frederick, because Frederick, as we saw in this episode, he didn't really care about his family. He cared about defeating Ivor and Isis. That's what he cared about. Speaking of Ivor and Isis is still out there, so I'm thinking that Isis is going to be the big villain of the season, although we're pretty sure that creature is going to be, because that creature is the thing that's gotten them into all this shit so far. That creature is sort of the thing that's making them all, gotten into this before, and it's going to be interesting to see what that creature does, does Ingrid even know? Some people are sort of, I heard this, one theory that Ingrid might be possibly, helping this creature, and when she's in this trance, and she doesn't even know it, and that very well possibly could be happening. As we know, every time she goes up to him, she's like, I will give you blood, I will give you blood. Now, I don't know what happens when she gives him blood, but I think I know what happens, actually. I think when she gives him blood, it makes this creature stronger, and that's when the creature attacks people. That's what it means when she gives him blood, is that it makes this creature stronger. And I think that's actually very interesting if that's what's going on here. If she makes this creature stronger, then I definitely think that is very interesting, as I said. I think it's definitely going to be interesting to see what happens. Now, the person I think is probably going to get attacked next, since Isis is still out there, is definitely going to be Wendy. Wendy is the only person that wasn't attacked yet. Ingrid, actually, no, Wendy was attacked. Ingrid has not been attacked, though. So something's going to happen to Ingrid, I have a feeling, because nothing's happened to Ingrid yet, except good things. She's helped Dash and Killian, and if she stays away from the Beauchamps, then nothing bad should happen to her. However, if she goes back home, because she hasn't moved out yet, keep in mind, she has not officially moved out yet. And, that's a big issue, because she needs to move out really soon, or else something bad is going to happen to her. I just know it. I know something bad is going to happen to Ingrid, because she's the only one that nothing bad has happened to her yet. Bad things have happened to Freya. You know, she almost died in this episode. Joanna's a wreck. Joanna just lost her husband, and she's obviously a wreck. Frederick, there's something going on with him. And Wendy, she just can't win with guys. That's just the thing. But that's basically it for my review. I hope you guys enjoyed it. As I said, I absolutely love this episode. Very, very sad to watch, especially Victor's death, but such a great episode overall. This is what the show needs to be, extremely dark like this. And as I've said before, when the show gets really, really dark, it becomes really, really good, and I absolutely love the show when it is this dark. I've always said this, and it's only going to be, it's only, in my opinion, I think it's going to get better now that it's so dark, and I'm really looking forward to seeing what's going to happen in the next episode. But let me know what you guys saw this episode. That's it for my review. Hope you guys enjoyed it. I'll see you guys in my next video, which will be my review for True Blood. So I'll see you guys for that. Okay, bye.